Hey everybody out there in the internet world, and welcome to another Dark Avengers comic book review. Got a bunch of books this week. Unfortunately, no independents this week. This is a first. Usually I at least have one independent book. Nothing. Nada. We have the big two, start with Marvel, going into DC. But before we get into that, two bits of news. First off, you guys know my cameraman Mike. Mike is going to be doing the camera work this time, so there will be zoom in on covers. Joe and Amber.
Hi guys.
Hey. First off, I want to talk about the stuff back here, so Mike, if you would mind, you could just come forward. You don't have to zoom in.
I got it.
Okay. First off, I want to talk about this book that you see in back of me this week. This is X-Men Survival Guide to the Mansion. I saw this book on 123 Comic Man's haul video. He was showing a bunch of comics, but this comic kind of interests me. A, because it is a, I'm going to bring it forward so you can zoom in. A, because it has a spiral cover. It's basically a book that you'd get if you were going to the Xavier Institute. This is back in the 90s. This was more of an incentive book than a comic book. And it has blueprints of the mansion, the danger room it talks about. It has a bunch of suits, a full layout. You could build the Xavier Institute with the layouts in here, mostly. I saw this on his haul video and I had to grab it, and I did. I got it on Midtown. Midtown sold out. This is why I tell you guys, if you see a book you want, buy it immediately or it sells out. Then I got this on Amazon. Paid the same price, just a little bit more for shipping. So I paid like maybe $1 or $2 more than I wanted to for the book. And that led me into the funny story of this book. I have to thank 123 Comic Man. He sent this to me, and I'll explain why in a second. It's Captain America and the Falcon, number 137. I was watching a haul video the following week after seeing X-Men Survival Guide to the Mansion, and I was looking through, he was showing off the comics, and a lot of them I was like, okay, some of them I even have, but then he showed this book, and I said, I remember saying something along the lines in the comments of, you showed last week the Survival Guide to the Mansion, and I went out and bought it, now that cover looks so awesome, I've got to run on, and I got to go grab that. And then he replied back, if you're interested in buying it, in getting it, buying it. If you're interested in the book, PM me and I'll send it to you. And through 2 or 3 messages, he sent it to me. Really nice. And this is why I love our community. You know, we exchange books all the time. Yeah. If we don't want a book, we just literally say, you want it? Here you go. You know, it's not like eBay where you got to buy the book. No, some of us will just be like, here you go, take the book. And I have not had a chance to read this yet. The mail has been crazy today. First, my comic books for this review came at like 4 o'clock. This came at 7. 4:45. And this was about 7 o'clock. Because I know Amber left the house for a bit at 6:30. So this was about 7 o'clock. That, or it was just, what do you call it? No, the mail was about 7 o'clock. So this was really late. I did not get a chance to read it. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to read this yet. Because I had to read all those books. But I will be reading this probably right after the comic review.
Awesome comic.
Thank you so much, 123 Comic Man. Throughout this whole talk with 123 Comic Man, I have his link somewhere up here or over here, wherever there's free space. Go check out his channel. He's a great guy, great reviewer. Love watching his videos and commenting too. We have such a great community here, guys. It's unbelievable. Now, before we get into the comic books this week, I'm going to get into quick news. This week, X-Force 17 came out. We'll talk about that when I get to it. But for the past week, Marvel has been releasing pictures, posters, whatever you want to call them, teasing issue 18 of Uncanny X-Force. The book is polybag, people. That means one of 3 reasons. 1, there's going to be a free digital download, which I highly doubt. 2, they have stuff in that book that they don't want you to see, aka a death.
Maybe.
Or 3, what was the 3rd reason? Signature, possible signed issue. Because they did that with the Ultimate books. There's a possibility of a signature in the book. One of the 3. And that's basically it. Uncanny X-Force is really being pushed a huge amount. And everything else is in the stack, so I don't want to get into that. Amber actually has some interesting news also, which makes me feel happy about my reviews a bit and giddy. But really it was messaged to her. So it's basically because of a book she's doing. So go ahead and take it.
She's all happy about it.
First off, I want to say, flat out, thank you to this person for messaging me. I'll explain why in just a second. But also, I want to say that I got very overwhelmed and happy for
Giddy.
this. Yes.
Yeah, I use that word.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to make sure she understood.
Yes. Okay. The writer of Lady Death PM'd me through my page. Of course, they must have gotten it off of yours.
That means they're watching. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.
And they pretty much said that it's really good to find someone that is enjoying the story rather than the boobs and the butts.
Don't look at me, look at him too.
But
And the story was very good.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
these men as
personally-
slaves and all that.
this
So
means
it
a
was
lot to
good.
me because this story is inspiring me to write.
Yeah.
You fell in love with Lady Death from
I did.
the other.
From the start, you
stuff.
fell in love with it.
The other older books, so.
And the story arc is very good.
I feel bad that I had to drop it, but I have so much else to review. I do read the books just after the reviews.
As I said in the PM or comment back, because it wasn't a PM, it was a comment, I pretty much explained that you guys do read it. It's not just me.
And we just pointed out the
Yeah,
That
the fact
part.
that she does wear
Sorry,
You know,
it's a little,
revealing-
I feel a little pushed over.
revealing clothing, but at the same time, it's not all about that. It's about the story behind it.
We're not
And
like
yes.
Ramon who looks at the.
she's just a comic character. It's
Yes,
more interesting in the story.
He did give me
Mhm.
a couple little spoiler hint things in the thing, but I do not want any messages about it because I will not be revealing it.
It really wasn't
Stick
a spoiler,
with
it
the
was
story.
a teaser.
Stick with the story, and you'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he teased you.
Yeah.
And before I just show
Yes.
that.
I got an apartment.
I don't want to start reviewing and then all of a sudden she's going
My
to come
house
to me
key.
about that.
Yeah,
Looks
get that out of the
like-
way.
One of the keys from Lock and Key, so guess what? I got the only key that's not in the book. Woo.
Moving on, we are discussing this week the comic books that were released on November 9th, 2011. And I want to kickstart this review off with two signed books from Midtown, as you can see by the certificates of authenticity this week. First off, signed by Ron Mars, we have Voodoo, first printing. They say it's first printing. I'm inclined to believe it, even though it's a red background. Number 1. I believe it's the first printing. I don't think Midtown would lie or they would mistake the second
No.
printing. I think the background for the number 1 was red also. I don't know. I have the number 1 put away already. And also, my third comic signed by Scott Snyder, Batman number 1, first printing. And I thought that was great. I love how most of his signatures have the word thanks on it.
It's very
An
nice,
exclamation
I like
point. I now have a total of 3 Scott Snyder
I
signed
like that one.
comics. I'm probably going to take one off my wall, probably the Batman, the
Take that one.
Detective Comics, and leave this one
Yeah.
because I love Greg Capello's artwork. So this is Greg
Nice.
Capello. What? I know. And let's get into this week's comics. We're starting with Marvel. 2 books really quick I want to throw out there. For those of you Avenger fans, they're going to be pushing Avenger books now, people. You know the movie's like 5, 6, the movie's a half year away. You're going to be pile drive with Avenger books, and this kills me because I like the Avengers, but I'm not buying more than my fair share of Avenger books. I'm sorry, because you know those books are going to stop after the movie comes out.
Of course.
I'm waiting for
Promotion.
Spider-Man books to double and quadruple with Amazing Spider-Man. Avengers Origins, Vision came out this week. Last week, Avengers Origin, Ant-Man and Wasp came out. I have no interest in either. I have an interest in Ant-Man and Wasp a bit, but the artwork from the previews did not look good, so I did not pick it up. I did, however, pick up Vision. The artwork looked good. Story is really good. Artwork's really nice. I would absolutely say if you're a Vision fan or if you want some origins from your Avengers teams, I would definitely say check this book out. That's basically it. It's an origin story. There's no real... There are several new factors to it, but really it's, for the most part, and yeah, origin story. Gotta throw this... Marvel Point 1. It was very nice of Marvel to sum up all their huge events in one big thick book of previews. However, I saw most of these previews on CBR.com for free. So the point of paying... Now, the price on the book says $5.99, but Midtown had a huge deal last week. You buy this, you pay a regular comic price, $3.99. But to be honest with you, I've seen most of this on CBR.com, minus the Phoenix story, which really wasn't much. Like, here's the splash page of the Phoenix story. It's a splash page of the Phoenix story with Nova. there really wasn't much in this book that I feel is worth $5.99. My honest opinion is, guys, you do realize most of this stuff, if not all of it, is going to be reprinted in the number ones of the issues. So basically you're just buying it to have it a couple of months, possibly a month earlier than when it's being released, and then you're not even going to need this book anymore. The point of paying $5.99 for this book is, in my opinion, retarded. And my book came with like like battle damage, so to speak.
It's on here.
Yeah.
And it's on the back a bit, a bend on the back. I'm not going to show the back.
Like one big
But
commercial.
it's like, and
commercial.
I'll tell you the truth, there are several books talked about. I'm not even bothering with Avengers. There's like a rundown back here. Nova, Harbinger, Scarlet Spider-Man, The Scarlet Thread, Doc Strange, The Shaman of Greenwich Village, Framing, Sequence, Behold, The Watcher, Age of Apocalypse, The Myth of Man, Coldman and Dragonfire, Yin and Yang, The Avengers, Age of Ultron. Now granted, maybe some of these previews might not make it to the actual books. They do tease the beginnings of the books, maybe leading into the books, but I'll be honest, guys, you really don't need that much of a lead-in. These, for $6.99, yeah, you're getting leads in. The only ones that actually interested me were Scarlet Spider-Man, which I'm sure this is not going to be in the first book because it actually does have a kind of ending to it, the preview. And same with a couple others, but some of them are just flat-out teasers to the actual number ones. So, yeah. These just feel like this one was definitely a teaser to the number ones. I'm not interested at all in the Ultron thing. So, what? You moved your leg? Oh, okay. It's up to you guys if you want to spend the money. To be honest with you, $6.99 just to have like a little side beginning story before the actual comic begins. And some of them might actually be previews to the actual number ones, like I said. Up to you guys.
If they're a huge fan, I mean a major fan.
I'll be honest, I'm okay with buying this because it did have a couple of good stories, and like I said, maybe some of these, now that I'm really thinking about it, even though there are like just previews, they might not make it to the number one, so it's up to you guys. Point one was okay. It lets you know what's going to be going on in the Marvel Universe for the next year. Something to mull around in your minds for the next year. And then they're going to bring out point one for 2012, and they'll probably call it point one 2012. Fear itself 7.2, focusing on Thor, as the cover shows. I enjoyed number one. Looking forward to number three. I'll talk about number three more next week. But I am looking for some kind of a reason to start picking up Invincible Iron Man. Maybe 7.3 will give me that incentive to want to pick up at least Invincible Iron Man again.
Oh, you liked it for a long time.
I used to like it,
Yeah.
and then I dropped it because it was starting to get retarded. We won't make weapons anymore. We're going to fight for economy, to find economical ways. And a car that rides on a arc reactor. No. Just no. Keep our superheroes the way they've been for years. The fact that he's not drunk anymore is the best part. That's it. Just let him make weapons. You need Tony Stark to be Tony Stark. In this, we're talking about Thor. The funeral, a more in-depth look at the funeral, a very interesting ending that I'm not going to spoil. You got to get this for yourselves, but I'll tell you one thing. I kind of was right. Nobody died. Thor died, don't get me wrong. Before we get started, Thor did die, but nobody ever truly dies, you know, in the Marvel U, so to speak, and you'll know what I mean if you see the last page of this book. But I have a feeling we're going to be seeing Thor in about a year, maybe a little less. And for the time being, though, Tanarus is going to be taking Thor's place until Thor returns, which is very, very soon.
Flip it around for a second.
Yes.
Can you show me the sort of huge spoiler thing?
No.
People should read
One thing that I will say...
Check it out. Yeah.
No, it's him. Amber. Look. You can even see from that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Now,
it looked
anyway,
the same. That's what I was asking.
Also, I do want to say one thing, though, that happened in this book that really got me going, wow, and by now you guys should know this, because this is the weekend, it's been a couple of days. The fact that Odin stepped down as High Father, and his wife is now the High Mother, and will be leading the Asgardians, was wow. Everything else, you got to read it. The ending was... Moving along, we are in Wolverine 18. The story continues. Really, it didn't feel much like it continued. It felt like Wolverine fought, then the boy and the old man got caught. Like they said, the guy said, surrender or I'll kill both of them. They surrendered for a time. Man gets chucked over the edge of an endless pit. Boy gets taken in for slavery. Wolverine and Big Monkey escape. Meet big fat sumo wrestler looking guy, which they did give a name for. I'm not gonna.
Okay. Whoa.
This is the big fat sumo looking man. First of all, I'm gonna move this over a bit. He's on the cover too. I forgot his name at the moment. Fat Cobra. Who laughed? But that's what they call him.
No, I'm just laughing.
And then basically this is the whole story, and it felt like I read like maybe 4 or 5 pages. You find out a little bit about Jade Claw, who's the leader of everything going on here, and basically, spoiler here, Wolverine figures out how to get his money back and get to Jade Claw. They all get swallowed by dragons, and the dragons head into the lair of the Jade Claw to be continued. That was the last book I read this week, and it felt like it took me 3 minutes to honestly read through. It felt like I lived through 3 minutes of the actual story. The story felt very short, very action-packed, don't get me wrong. Artwork is amazing in all the books, but this book, it just felt like I went from point A to point B a little bit too fast. Felt like more of a filler. Like basically all this happened in the middle of something in the beginning and towards the end.
So you think they rushed the story?
No, I just feel like I went through the story really quick. That's all.
Oh,
this is another book that feels more, well, it's not really filler, I can't say that. New Avengers, number 18, but it says New Dark Avengers 18. Basically, Norman... Oh, yeah, it has my dark name on it. Basically, in this book, it has nothing to do with the Avengers. The Avengers are not in this book at all. It's all about Norman Osborn bringing together a new Dark Avengers team. And you can see on the cover... I don't know, should I spoil it?
Oh, see.
I'm not going to spoil who the new Dark Avengers are. You got to get the book because it's really amazing. Because throughout the whole book, just answer me this: are they making Norman Osborn?
Yeah,
this artist always makes Norman Osborn look like Tommy Lee Jones. Does that not look like Tommy Lee Jones?
It does. You asked me before. I think it does, but it's copyright to the actor.
Yes. Look.
Very similar features.
Men in Black.
I asked
Men in Black.
I didn't know either. I don't feel bad. I asked.
Thank you.
When he showed me.
Does nobody watch Men in Black? Does nobody watch Batman? He was Two-Face. Okay, he was Two-Face in Batman. In Batman Forever, was it? Yeah, Batman Forever. Oh, the ending. That's right. That's why.
Well, like I said, I think this is a coincidence.
I will not say who he got to join his new Avengers. I will, however, show the splash page of the new Dark Avengers.
Doesn't that kind of explain who it is?
No. Can you tell who these people are other than Scar? Yes, Scar is the Hulk. You can tell it's Scar, that's it. Nope, not Wolverine.
No, looks like
That's not Wolverine, that's just his costume. None of these are the actual people.
Oh. Yeah, they kind of, their faces look a little different.
Very good, and Hawkeye, the Hawkeye of the new Avengers, the new Dark Avengers. You guys might be interested in hearing who that is. Check out this book. I will not spoil it. However, I might tweet a spoiler on it on my Twitter since I've already read through the comics. But I think I might tweet one at a time.
Yeah.
Except Scar. You all know Scar is the Hulk. So I might tweet everybody else one at a time. Hey, look, that's a good way to get really big spoilers out. This way, if people don't want to know, they can still watch my videos and not go on the Twitter. Uncanny X-Force 17, we're talking about 18. 17, Betty is Death. And Death is Betty. No. I knew it. Somehow, you done? Okay, I forgot his name. Why does this happen to me all the time?
Names are...
Phantom X. No, I knew the name. Phantom X found a way to open the gate world, just like Archangel did, and brought back some other friends from the Age of Apocalypse universe. Now, if you guys remember correctly, there's going to be a Phoenix Saga. Look who's in the Marvel U.
Where
Jean Grey from the Age of Apocalypse. And guess what she is? Phoenix. Right. And now there was teasers that Nightcrawler from that universe was joining the Uncanny X-Force. So if Nightcrawler is staying, and a bunch of these people on this page die, and they don't start with the name Jean, not all of them die, by the way. Just some of the people on this panel die. And it's not Nightcrawler and it's not Jean. That's all I'm going to spoil, is not Nightcrawler or Jean. How much you want to make a bet Jean's staying?
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's good.
I'll make a bet Jean's staying.
I like them though.
And she didn't die, at least in this issue. And basically everybody's fighting Archangel. They're trying to snap Betty. Ow, I hurt my thumb. I can't snap. They're trying to snap Betty out of this
Killer.
being death. They're trying to free her. Phantom X tricks her. Jean gets into her head. It was not a flashback. 2 people said this was a flashback. This is not a flashback.
It does look like it.
It looks like it, but really they're in Betty's head.
Well, it could be old time.
They're in Betty's head, flashing back to a certain point in time where she met Archangel, Warren. But this is not a flashback. This is in Betty's head because Jean goes in there and extracts death from...
I get what they mean. It's sort of like a flashback, though, because it's in her head from time before that happened.
And then I'm going to give you guys the last page. The pendulum issue. The pendulum point in this entire story. Betty's back. This page. This page.
What a vengeance.
And to be concluded, this comic is going to be polybagged. There's going to be something big that goes on. I think... my predictions are the death of Angel. I don't think it would be the death of Jean. By the way, here's Jean again. Now, mind you, this Jean Grey loves Wolverine. Married Wolverine in the Age of Apocalypse universe. How much you want to bet she'll stay with this Wolverine in this universe? And Scott Summers is going to go eat his heart out. Please, if you're watching my reviews, people at Marvel, keep Jean and put her with Wolverine. She deserves... Wolverine deserves to be with Jean. I'm sorry. Wolverine has changed so much throughout the years, but he's always had a good heart. And he's, in my opinion, especially the way Scott Summers is now, Wolverine deserves Jean.
He's always been good, no matter what, though.
And what?
Any universe.
Cyclops can keep Emma Frost.
Oh God,
can keep Rogue.
Emma Frost.
Again.
Rogue and Gambit might be getting back together.
Good.
Yes. The book I enjoyed the most this week. I enjoyed all these books.
Oh,
but the book that
you gave a very good review.
I didn't expect to like. I really didn't. I thought it was going to be bottom rung. Joe read it as well, and Mike read it a little bit. Avenging Spider-Man #1 was a good kickstart. It just felt a bit short.
It was short. There was a lot of more action scenes.
Yeah, more. It starts off with everybody saw the preview. Spider-Man with the Avengers. Red Hulk loses the not-its. And has to take Spidey home.
I like the humor in it.
Oh, it was hilarious. There was a marathon there was a marathon that went over the Verrazano Bridge last week.
Yeah.
The New
Pretty
York
ironic.
Yeah, they incorporated it here.
Yeah, they put it in.
And only it's on the George Washington Bridge. Yeah, but this one was on the George Washington Bridge, unlike the one here.
You know, I saw it.
I know.
It was right near my job.
And the creatures from the underworld, the underground, come out and screw up the marathon. Spidey and Red Hulk show up. Of course, since Red Hulk's with Spider-Man, he's going to help Spider-Man. This is just another fancy way of saying Marvel team-ups. Except instead of saying Spider-Man team-ups, it says Avenging Spider-Man because now he's on all the Avengers teams. Ha ha ha, what a play on words. Anyway, Mayor Jameson gets taken hostage. Spidey's left to fight this ginormous worm thingy,
I don't know what the hell
which I'll show.
I'm not going to say the spoiler.
And that's basically where you get left off. Mole Man does make an appearance at the very end, but you'd think Mole Man is in control, but in fact, and they actually did show this on CBR, so I could show it. It was on CBR. Mole Man is actually a slave to whomever this character is, which I'm sure we're going to get to know.
I think it's going to be good.
As time goes on.
I asked Chris for a good comic to read because I was reading through what you'll get up to in DC, and I'm not going to say
what I found very funny.
Gave me this, I'm like, wow.
What I found very funny, in the polybag, the comic was polybagged like this. Why? Marvel finally got smart. I said they should have done this with the Ultimate books to hide the certificates of authenticity. They did it with Avenging Spider-Man.
That was pretty ironic.
My yellow page goes here. My Avenging Spider-Man goes back. Because on the internet, you guys won't be able to see the code. And even if you do see the code by that time, I will have already redeemed it. Actually, I'm not redeeming the code for this. I'm going to explain. This was another good idea that Marvel did. A good idea in two ways. Good for us, but also a way for them to say, oh, Avenging Spider-Man's $3.99. Do you know why Avenging Spider-Man's $3.99 instead of $2.99 like they've been saying all the new books would be? Because down here, if you guys didn't notice, that little blue thing says right here, purchase includes free digital download. See inside for details. The very back cover has the
but
code.
they catch you up. I'm going to tell you this right now. You gave me the thing. It's all these different websites. Like
it's one website, Comicology. You make an account.
No, when you gave me, I'm talking about. Well, it was something
that was something different.
Oh, different, yeah.
I think it's really nice that they're keeping, they're giving you a free digital comic and they're not charging you an extra $2 like DC did.
Yeah,
but in a way, this is still Marvel getting greedy a bit with their money. Yeah. Instead of charging $2.99, they're charging you an extra $1 because you got a free digital download.
And give a secondary email address if you have them because they expect a lot of promotions.
Yeah, where was this yellow paper when you guys were doing the signature books in the Ultimate Universe to prevent us from seeing the certificate of authenticity in those books? Now you do this?
Maybe
or better yet, put the certificate inside the actual comic.
I know, but now they did it with the digital download? Of all times, Marvel? I have very nice yellow paper. Here, have a hat. Because that's all I can do with it! And by the way, I'm not redeeming my digital download code. For right now, my Tox actually mentioned that I offered it to him if he would like the Avenging Spider-Man digital. No. What am I going to do with it?
What would you offer me? That same something similar.
No, I offered you a digital download code for Justice League, and you didn't want it, and I just kept it.
Someone else wants it.
I'm going to give Tox the first story arc. If he enjoys it, I'll keep it up. If not, I'll make a message, and if anybody's interested in the digital download, if Tox isn't, you're welcome to it, but
I personally agree.
I offered it to Tox first. What?
With 27 minutes.
Damn, really? Alright, guys. Wow, really? We just finished Marvel.
Perfect.
We're going into DC. So, guys, wow, for the first time ever, we have a perfect split.
No, what happened once or twice before?
Well, first time in a while. Next, all DC. We finished Marvel. If I have 27, I'm going to waste another minute. I love the art. The artwork was okay in this book. Could have been a little bit better. I'm very happy that they're keeping day-to-date with paper and digital, because I know a lot of people who can't get the paper. I'm not.
That's my opinion.
Personally, too, I need a hard copy.
Yeah.
So I'll never. Digital will never. Paper will never die because I'll always be buying the paper over digital. Paper is also a way for us to review it. If we have digital, then we can't review it because it's all on an iPad or an iPod.
Or you could hook up like a big HD TV, but who's going to do that?
You can't. You honest to God can't go all digital, no paper. Because if you go all digital, people who don't have internet or TV or anything like that won't be able to read. They're going to want to keep it for people who don't have those things.
I still read it.
So really nice that Marvel made it free. But it's just a shady way for them to charge you that extra $1.
There's always a catch.
Yeah, there's always a little catch. Alright guys, come back for part 2. We're going to be talking complete DC Comics. See you there.